Hey everyone, welcome to the Active Towns channel. My name is John Zimmerman and I am in Providence, Rhode Island with Liza and Alex. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, good job.
I'm going to swing the camera around and have you guys introduce yourselves, and then we're going to go out and do some riding and see what Providence is all about. Well, hey guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Liza, start it off.
Hey everyone, my name is Liza Burkin. I'm the founder and board president of the Providence Streets Coalition, which was founded in 2019 with a mission of providing safer streets, better transportation choices, and policies that advance mobility justice.
Love it, love it. Yes.
I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a principal planner with the city's Department of Planning and Development, where I've been since 2017, working most of that time on streets, making them better for people to get around.
Fantastic. What are we going to see today?
Well, we're here at the Roger Williams Park Gateway Center. It's kind of the welcome center to Roger Williams Park, the biggest park in the City of Providence, named after the founding father of Rhode Island. And we're gonna ride mostly protected infrastructure and traffic calm streets all the way to India Point Park, which is another one of our large city parks.
Love it, love it. Any additional comments on what we're going to see today from a city's perspective?
No, let's ride and let's go see it.
All right, let's go do it. Everyone, as we get rolling here, just want to mention that this is installment number 4 on the summer 2025 Active Towns Amtrak Tour. As many of you may know, I travel extensively around the globe via train and with my Brompton bicycle, but this is the first time I've attempted to do it here in North America, so I wanted to bring you along for the ride. And this particular trip, arriving in Providence, Rhode Island for both the Strong Towns National Gathering as well as the Congress for New Urbanism Gathering, was truly quite special. Okay, let's get right to it with Liza and Alex.
Let's get over here. We can just get back into the bike lane once we have a sec.
So Alex, let's talk a little bit about what we just had to do there. So we had to make our way over to here because we've got some construction going on. Sometimes you just can't control those sorts of things when you're part of the city. Obviously the cycle track is no longer usable, so we're just making our way over there. Talk a little bit about that process of just kind of rolling with things when a detour has to come in.
Yeah, there's overlapping jurisdictions on city streets, so we just rode over a bridge over I-95. Some bridge work is going on there, so they needed to close half of the street so they can do that bridge work. It's probably going to take a couple years, but it's temporary. My hope is that when they build it back, they can build it back with more permanent separation than the paint and post that we have on Broad Street right now.
Right, yeah.
But I think we can probably cross the street once this car goes. Do we press the button? Yeah, great. Oh, this car's going. All right. Whew.
Perfect.
All right.
There we go.
Now we are in the Broad Street bike lane.
I love it.
So Broad Street is about a mile-long commercial corridor through one of the biggest neighborhoods in Providence, the south side of Providence, which is really one of the epicenters of the Latino population in Providence, which is like more than half of the city.
Right.
And Broad Street is really the heart and the spine of this neighborhood. A lot of businesses. When we were trying to figure out how to do this urban trail project, we were looking at the space in the road, and there used to be center turn lane for much of the length of Broad Street. It was a wide street. It has one of the most frequent bus routes in the city. And you can see right here behind me, there's a bus island that we built in to allow for that frequent bus traffic. And we have a walk light now, we can go.
And this is a nice design here too, because as you mentioned, we've got the lighter, quicker, cheaper materials, but at the same time, you were able to do more permanent, concrete at that transit stop. So that's a nice, combination of the two.
Yeah, and the sort of the best practice that NACTO has we've learned from NACTO is that it's good to start with these temporary materials, these paint and posts, to establish the different uses of the street. But then you need to have a plan for maintenance, and you need to have a plan for upgrading to something more permanent. So we pursued a federal Safe Streets for All grant in 2022, and part of that was planned to be used to improve all the paint and post separation into something more permanent. And so we still have that grant. We haven't seen the impacts of the federal cuts on that one at the moment. One of the things that's going to be the priority on Broad Street for us to deal with is making sure that these bus islands are more intuitive to more people. We've had a lot of people hitting the bus islands with their cars, and that's impacted their usability and just the reception of the whole urban trail. So we have some funds. We're thinking about what we can do in some of the taper that's just paint right now to really guide the cars around the islands. But man, this trail is so much more relaxing to bike on than biking in traffic used to be on this road.
Yeah, what was the condition before?
So yeah, it was one lane each direction with a center turn lane for most of the street, and people use that center turn lane as a passing lane as well, which was a big part of the chaos of it.
So we're kind of making our way onto one of these, relatively quiet residential streets, narrow streets. I've noticed in the city already, in the short time I've been here, there's a plethora of these sort of, low volume, low speed residential streets. It's nice when you can connect them to a facility like, that two-way cycle track.
Yeah, this street is pretty typical of residential streets in the city. Parking on both sides, two-way traffic, but not a lot of space for that two-way traffic to move in. This street isn't designated as part of our urban trail network, but we are on our way to one of the nicest, what we call neighborhood greenways in the city.
Okay, that's the official name that you guys are using, neighborhood greenways?
Yeah, lots of cities use different terms for it, but the streets that we designate as part of our network that are already pretty low volume and low speed, and with only a little bit of intervention, they can really be comfortable places for all ages and abilities to ride a bike or to play in the street or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have various traffic calming that we do in the city. We're going over right now some what we call speed lumps. Other places call them speed pillows, but they're asphalt with gaps in between them to try to slow people down. One thing that is a very Providence thing is randomly seeing people all the time.
Yeah.
Just saw a guy I met when I moved here 10 years ago. Who's a sign painter.
Yeah. And when you're riding a bike or you're walking in your city, you can have those chance interactions, which is, the whole point of creating a people-oriented city.
Absolutely.
Increases the sociability.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So
I love houses too that have front porches, because then that also, along with having, people-oriented streets, it's a good combination. Front porches and people-oriented streets.
So we're turning onto Melrose Street now,
okay.
Which one of the unique things about Melrose is that it has a lot of curbed corner bump outs.
Yeah.
More so than a lot of other streets in the city. It's a connector, but it's not the most convenient if you are riding in a car. So it's consequently pretty quiet.
Right.
It's also has a lot of trees right next to it. Makes it a really pleasant place to be.
Yeah.
So this neighborhood that we're in right now has some speed lumps, which are sort of the predominant traffic calming feature in the city.
Yeah.
But uniquely in this neighborhood, there's a lot of neighborhood roundabouts.
Nice.
which I think work okay.
Yeah. I noticed that it is one of the ones that where there's stop signs, curiously.
Yeah. I mean, this is America. We love our stop signs.
I guess so, even when you don't need them. Yeah, so let's go through the traffic circle, and we'll queue up here, and we'll talk a little bit about your organization.
That person agreed that we didn't need the stop signs.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Let's
got
go
some
ahead
chickens
and
over here.
Cool, we could stop in
pull
front of
over here and stage up.
our local bird rescue.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah, and that Great Dane is Honey Boy's worst enemy. God, they hate each other so much.
I've always loved seeing all the birds here. I didn't know it was a rescue.
She's
That's
a
great.
federally recognized bird wildlife rescuer.
I
So,
just saw.
Wow.
there's like a bird drop-off little thing over there where it's like.
Was she the one
like
who
a little
David
free
was just
library
posting
that's for
about? Just
birds.
like,
I love it. I love it. So Liza, you were just talking about this really cool bird rescue place here. Laura and I had chickens for a while, and so we did that. But yeah, tell a little bit about this. So if somebody has a bird that they can no longer take care of, they can actually drop this off, and it's a rescue.
Yeah. So this is my neighborhood. I live just a couple blocks down. This street, Melrose, is my daily commute.
So cool.
This is called Congress for the Birds. We're on Congress Street, Congress and Melrose. And it's an incredible Iranian artist who moved here, and she's also one of the very few folks who are federally licensed to rehabilitate wildlife.
Oh my gosh.
Avian wildlife. So folks, like there's a little free libraries just around the corner. There's like a drop off. If you find an injured bird out in the wilderness, like anywhere on the street, roadkill or whatever, you can just drop them off here and call
So
the
it's
line.
not only the chickens that I see here, but it's domesticated chickens, but it's also wild birds too.
Oh
Fantastic.
yeah, over in that little enclosure there are birds of prey, there are hawks and other kinds of...
Yeah, they keep the hawks away from the chickens that are over here, yeah. I noticed there's netting all over the chickens. Yeah, we loved our hens. They were a delight to have. I see at least one duck over there too, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Pheasants.
So this is not bird talk. We are here to actually talk about safer streets and traffic calming. Talk a little bit about the organization that you're running, and what's the history? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, the Providence Streets Coalition was founded in 2019 with the help of People for Bikes at the time, part of the Final Mile program. And really it was responding to 4 different government plans that all came out, written by the city and the state right around the same time. One was the city's Great Streets Plan, which was written by Alex, turned into Safe Streets Providence.
Okay.
The second was the city's Climate Justice Plan, which has an entire chapter on transportation that hits carbon reduction targets and electrification targets. Then the state of Rhode Island also put out a transit master plan and a statewide bike mobility plan, each of which has many projects in Providence, in the capital city.
Right.
But at the time, there was no group looking at Providence specifically to bring together all the different users of streets, drivers, people who walk, people who bike, skateboarders, skaters, wheelchair users, and transit riders to come together and advocate for all of these changes at the same time. So we primarily focus on folks who walk, bike, and take the bus, and as well as folks with disabilities. And we advocate for the policies and the projects within those 4 plans to make it off the paper and into the streets.
Right. And one of the great things about the Final Mile project across the 5 different cities that were part of that is that there was a reframing of the narrative that took place, and really emphasizing that this isn't about bikes. This is about creating streets for people, for everyone. And that when you do create an environment that is safer for everybody, everybody benefits. And so especially like in the city of Austin in 2020, when they went to the voters, a huge bond was passed because of that, because that message sunk in that when we're talking about creating protected infrastructure, for instance, or traffic calm streets like we have here, again, it's good for everybody, not just for people biking, not just for people walking, but literally everybody. Yeah,
absolutely. As you can see, I'm wearing this Save RIPTA t-shirt right now because our top priority right now, and really for the past 2 years, has been kind of getting outside of bikes and really focusing on people who use the bus, because we've had chronic underfunding, budget issues with our one statewide public transit system, which is our only public transit system in a state this size, and the majority of Providence residents depend on it. And especially for car-free households, folks who bike and walk, you need the bus for longer distance trips. Right. And it's been such a joy to learn the transit organizing world and bring that together with biking and walking. And it's really important, if you're watching this and you're a bike first advocate, I really encourage you to talk to bus riders and folks with disabilities and people for whom biking is not an option, because they have important stories to tell and their voices need to be amplified in the conversation.
Yeah. Recently I had Anna Zyvarts on, who is a non-driver. Yes. She has an eye condition that prevents her from doing that, and she makes the point that there's many people out there that just can't or have chosen not to drive, and so they're non-drivers, and they can be anywhere between 30 and 40% of our population. So it's also kind of important to include them in that dialogue that's taking place. So So these days we devote the majority of our time and energy to fighting for public transit funding at the State House right now. We have a couple weeks left to go. Okay. And then we'll shift our attention back to the bike infrastructure that we're going to build through this federal grant that Alex was talking about. Fantastic. Alex, so Liza was just sharing about the nonprofit. You talk about that relationship, with the city, and how you all are working, well together to be able to bring this together, because ultimately you all are moving towards the same goal, which is to create more people-oriented places and streets, that are servicing, the residents of the city. Talk a little bit about that relationship and how you're able to, stay in good terms with each other and take me out for a bike tour.
Well, I think, there's always some tension when in a relationship between the city and advocates. Mm-hmm. And I think that, so just to back up a little bit further than Liza did about the Streets Coalition, Liza was living in Newport, Rhode Island, when I moved to Providence 11 years ago, and was involved with Bike Newport, which is a wonderful advocacy organization there. And when the city around the time I started with the city in 2017, we got involved with some of the People for Bikes work with the Big Jump, and then the Final Mile. And with Final Mile, the beginning of Final Mile was really People for Bikes wanted to know what cities wanted help with, and it was very flexible. So we put together a proposal to Final Mile and told them that one of our biggest needs was to have an advocacy organization to support the work that we were doing inside government. That was one of the biggest wins from that grant, was that it enabled Liza, who had this wonderful advocacy background, forged in Newport, and had just gotten out of planning school, to come back to Providence and do this work here. I love to embarrass Liza by saying that she is so perfect for this work. The ability to not only have the organizing demeanor, but also the ability to understand and work with people in government is really important for a successful advocacy group. And Liza carries it out really well, as do her colleagues at the Streets Coalition.
Yeah, no, it's well said. And
thanks, Alex. I want to say some complimentary things about you too now.
So, and I'll say, part of why we had this lucky confluence of things that created this successful partnership was that we knew each other, and then we had this opportunity with People for Bikes, and Liza was getting out of grad school at just the right time, and right place at the right time, right people, right connections, and this relationship between the Streets Coalition and the city was born. And it's not always easy, there's definitely conflict, but it's healthy conflict, and it pushes us towards making a better balance of all the competing needs in the city.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so what are we going to see next?
We'll probably go back to Broad Street, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're
And
gonna.
then Pine, Clifford, pedestrian bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
All
a lot of
right,
other
let's
stuff
roll.
to see too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So do you know if you have any of your traffic calming traffic circles that exist without stop signs?
I do not know off the top of my head.
It's just curious. I saw the same thing in Pittsburgh recently, and they did have one where they went ahead and trialed it without stop signs, and kind of monitoring the behavior to see, because intuitively it should work without a stop sign. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it as a normal stop control intersection with something weird in it, it makes sense to have stop signs.
Yeah.
If you think of it from, the Dutch perspective of what is a stop sign, we have roundabouts here.
Yes,
Of course you wouldn't want to have stop signs. And I think,
because it's really about creating yielding behaviors.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, let's continue here. I think the best practice for neighborhood traffic circles in the U.S. is now to not have stop signs, as far as I'm aware. But we don't do a ton of them. There's a bunch in this neighborhood. My understanding is that there was a city councilor who was into them, and that's why there's a bunch in this one neighborhood and not so much elsewhere. I don't know if that's true or not.
I actually don't know. I think it goes back to the major neighborhood organizing, revitalization of the historic homes as well as the streets at the same time. I would assume, but I don't actually know, and I really should, because I'm a homeowner in that neighborhood. But a lot of that neighborhood organizing happened 30 years ago, and us now, we're reaping the benefits. So you never know. Advocacy is like the bucket brigade. You pick up a pail of water and you hand it over. And you may never even put out the fire. You may not even know where the fire is. You just have a long line of people trying to help.
Nice little pocket park here. Very cool to see.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good little neighborhood parks that have been getting some good new playground equipment in them. They're not all identical either, which is great. There's different infrastructure in different places.
Yeah.
But we're coming back up to Broad Street here.
We'll take a left.
And we're going to get pretty quickly to this transition in the infrastructure from being fully separated two-way urban trail is what we call them, but it's two-way bike lane essentially, protected bike lane. All right, they're giving us space, let's go. Into unprotected bike lanes, which is sort of the traditional design of the past 30 years in the US. And the reason why it changes is that the street gets a lot more narrow up past this intersection we're coming to now called Public Street.
Okay.
And when we were designing this with Tool Design Group, we made the tough choice that we needed to do a less safe design up here, just to balance the different priorities of the neighborhood. We were talking a lot with neighborhood leaders, city councilors, community groups, businesses, and what we heard loud and clear was that they would only go along with this project if the businesses still had the parking they needed on street.
Well, what's really nice about this segment of it, or section of it, is that you were able to preserve parking on both sides, creating a nice parking protected two-way cycle track, which is really nice.
Yeah, it is. You can actually see right here, we're on about 2 or 3 blocks where it's the narrower profile. So we only have, careful, Liza.
You're okay, go ahead. Showcasing
and that is the
showcasing
hazard of this bike lane.
Yes.
Well, no, and this is perfect actually, because one of the narratives that I have on this is that when we have slow-moving traffic, that is a crash that just never happened because we
Yeah.
were all moving at slow speeds.
Yep.
Had we been like barreling at 25 miles per hour, that would have been a collision. So
Yeah. And
it's one of the things that I really emphasize is that when we have our designs be slow, you can have a crash that just never even happens.
Yep.
yeah.
So we're gonna switch sides of the street here to
Okay.
get into the bike lane. And we can probably, like, how do we feel about filtering up here? Because I think we will have an opportunity. Maybe not.
So we do it
So
right
this-
up here where the
yeah,
green is? Yeah.
This is missing an arrow.
Yeah.
But
The
basically-
one most critical, we can go now, let's go.
Great.
Well, the one most critical marking.
The
Yeah.
one most critical marking never got painted.
Whoops.
I keep threatening to do it myself.
Might be quicker at this point.
Yeah. Some cyclists in the city are frustrated by that turning conflict risk,
Yeah.
especially when they're used to bike path, rail trail bike path. And what I say to them is like, a rail trail, that is the right of way. The rail right of way is, you have the right of way.
Right.
Whereas this is an on-street bike path
Yeah.
where it's shared. This
Yeah.
is not like a rail right of way. You do have to look out and
Yeah.
then ride slow. That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. You're not gunning. Spandex is not going to be helpful on this
Right.
on this street.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're going to turn off onto one of the very low volume, quieter connector streets. That'll take us towards downtown.
Nice. So Liza, talk a little bit about the structure of the organization. Is it a nonprofit? How does that work? If it is a nonprofit, who's the board?
Yeah. John, just want to notify, they are doing utility work on this street, and there are
gosh.
some absolute crazy craters, so
Yeah,
just like watch yourself.
Keep half an eye out on them.
I have an eye out for you, but yeah. Okay. I try to 311 them as they come up. Okay, yeah, so the Streets Coalition is both a fiscally sponsored 501c3 project of
Okay.
one of our partner organizations called Grow Smart Rhode Island.
Okay.
And as of last year, we just started a 501c4 arm.
Ah, fabulous.
Yes, that's what I'll be presenting on Saturday at
Nice.
the CNU conference.
Fantastic. Why don't you
along
explain for especially our international audience, what's the difference between a C3 and a C4?
Oh yes, I've been entrenched in this for a long time, and actually was inspired to do it by a conversation I had at one of the People for Bikes gatherings, talking to colleagues with Bike Texas. Basically, 501c3, both 501s are stupid American tax code that means that it's a nonprofit that's tax exempt. So whatever money we raise, we don't have to pay taxes on it.
Yep.
C3s are for charitable activities. So that's, for us, things like community education, engagement, outreach, awareness building, taking people on bike rides, on walks, on transit adventures. But then, this work is inherently political. And 501c4s are free to do a lot more lobbying and political organizing.
Right. Yeah.
C3s can do a small amount of that, but you are limited to spending only 20% of your budget.
Yeah.
And because of our Save RIPTA campaign at the State House,
Yeah.
we realized we need to hire a lobbyist.
Yeah.
Because we had the first 5 years of our organization were all on municipal level politics.
Right. Right.
Which I knew how to do, but by myself. And the State House is just a different beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much bigger geography, much different personalities, everything different. And I realized I did not have the skills to get it done, so needed to hire a professional.
Yeah.
And I strongly encourage more advocacy organizations to pursue this path.
Right.
It's not been such a huge lift. It's a little bit of a logistical headache. You have to have 2 separate bank accounts,
Right.
2 separate boards. it is some admin work, but it is worth it in my opinion so far. I mean, I'm about almost 1 year into having both of these entities, and so far I think it's worth it.
Coming up on a little scarier half block here.
Oh, the other thing I'll say about that is that a 501c4 can not only lobby directly, but can also endorse candidates.
Yes.
That is crucial and is something that we're super excited about for next year's election cycle.
Yeah, great point.
We can
this
go.
part is messed up. I keep meaning to email Nate about it, being like, you have to put in some separation here.
Yeah.
This is the highway.
There's also some water work that's happening here.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on here, but
It's
I think
really
we should
short.
right now go up to wait at that stop bar, such
So
as
what?
it is.
Yeah. This used to be all flex posts, but they're all dead.
So we'll wait until they have a red light and then we'll cut across.
Yeah. The signaling is totally fine. It works. I cross this like every day. It's great. It's fine. It's just this lack of separation now
40,
that is
50
not okay.
mile an hour traffic here.
Yeah, because this is a frontage road
Yeah.
filtering onto the interstate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, I'm used to these in Texas.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the fascinating things in Providence, right? Is that as this, city that is 300 plus years old.
Yeah.
We have pretty narrow streets, generally speaking.
Yeah.
We have a pretty walkable environment, generally speaking, compared to other cities in the United States.
Yeah.
We have it pretty good.
Yeah.
And yet, it doesn't feel safe a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it's always, you got to balance those two things in your head. That we can continue here. Let's go. Our narrow streets, when they make people drive slow, do a pretty good job at making our streets really livable.
Yeah.
But Providence drivers try to drive like they want to drive, regardless of what the street says sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is Clifford Street that we're on right now. It's this street, along with Broad Street, were really conceived as part of a project called City Walk, which was about connecting the two big parks in the city, Roger Williams Park and India Point Park. And all of this block, all of the flex posts are out right now, which is a little bit scary, but they'll pick back up when we cross this intersection.
Yeah.
So right now, we are in this part of Providence that has recently been known as the 195 land. So the highway I-195 used to cut right through the middle of downtown.
Right here.
And right here, where we are right now.
Yeah, this used to be an interstate.
This used to be a highway.
No longer.
And in about 10 years ago, actually, was when the highway was removed and replaced with a street grid network.
Right.
And opened up a lot of downtown land for development. So you're seeing around us right now, there's a state health lab, and then Brown University is building a medical life sciences lab, building for their medical school. So a lot of development has happened at this point.
Right.
There's still some parcels that are open for development.
Wow, very encouraging.
Yeah, so this was all highway.
And we're about to go through the crown jewel of the 195 project, which was the pedestrian bridge and the park on either side.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the Michael Van Leesten pedestrian bridge, named after one of our most prominent civil rights leaders.
Okay.
And there's construction happening here as well. They're building a permanent food pavilion and bathrooms, which will be very nice.
Clear right, clear left.
Yep, you can see this is part of our downtown transit connector bus project that takes folks from the city center to the hospital district with some painted bus lanes.
Yeah.
Transit stuff. And yeah, now we're in we call this the 195 District Park, and I hate that.
It's gonna have
so
another name
much.
at some point.
Yeah. Because I'm like, why would we name it for what the highway used to be, where the highway used to be? But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a different name soon.
Yeah.
And it's really just shocking how much it's become the centerpiece of the city as soon as it was built. From
Yeah.
the moment it was built. Folks complained about the cost, and then the next week after the ribbon cutting, it was like in their, dating profiles.
Yeah.
That's my favorite talking point, and you took it.
Yeah, so this is where people go to be in nature and to socialize.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, what day is it? It's Monday?
It's
Yeah,
Monday,
we got
yeah.
like music most nights of the week here in the summer, poetry readings, dance classes, all the stuff.
Yeah. It's the stuff.
There's a beer garden that sets up over here regularly, some food
Wow.
trucks.
Yeah.
You can kayak in the river. Yeah, this is just the place.
One of the things that Providence is
And
known
this was, and it's built on the original highway
yeah.
pilings. Like
Nice.
literally, this was the interstate.
Yeah.
And now it's this.
Fantastic.
One of the cultural events that Providence is best known for is Waterfire. There are torches in the middle of the river through downtown, and a dozen times or so throughout the warm season, there's big events with music and lots of vendors, and they light those torches on fire, and it's a whole big event. And it's just north of the pedestrian bridge.
Yeah.
But it's really
John,
fun.
you should come and get B-roll here at night because there's all the lights in the whole city.
Yeah, I
It's
noticed
like-
that last night.
Yeah.
I was rolling in at like 11 at night.
Yeah. Those all the benches like glow this blue color. It's really
Yeah.
Should we go zigzag to get into the South Water bike
Sure.
lane?
Yeah. All right. Now we are about to turn onto one of the most politically controversial bike lanes in the whole city.
I love this last night. I mean, again, I came in at 11 o'clock at night, and this is the bike lane facility that I used
Great.
with my luggage on my Brompton.
Excellent.
So,
Love it. Have lost a lot of sleep over this over this 10 feet of lane here.
it worked really well last night.
I have some gray hairs because of this.
Yeah, I bet.
So does Alex.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point. Yes, theoretically things do get a little easier as people get used to stuff.
Hey, hello.
When they start, community starts.
Yay, hey Rye. This is Rye, the artist. He's installing
Yay.
all the art right now.
The art. Thank you for the art.
Yay. All these little cute cartoonish
Yeah.
characters. He's also a cyclist.
Oh,
Nice.
it's coming up here.
But yeah, I mean, it theoretically should be getting easier, but every project is still a battle. That's
Yeah.
what we have to keep in mind, and not
Not
yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes ones
Well-
that you think are going to be super hard end
Yeah.
up being really easy.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like this one,
Yeah.
ones that I thought this one was going to be so easy, and it
Yeah.
ended up being a dumpster fire.
Yeah. I guess the point is don't ever get complacent because anything can blow up at any
That's
time.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, I think at the end of the day, there's going to be a happy ending to this bike lane
Yeah.
because it is part of our Safe Streets for All project.
Yeah.
We are.
Let's take this left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Going to go on the sidewalk right here, or the crosswalk. I mean. I think we should just scoot up because this is a mess
okay.
right here. So South Water Street is going to, the bike lane is going to be brought up to sidewalk elevation, separated from traffic with a curb. It's going to look really nice. It's going to be kind of narrow because we're fitting a lot of things in there,
Yeah.
but it's going to feel pretty good. So this building across the street from us is another one that was part of the 195. Also, the field behind us, there's 2 different parcels that are going to have buildings on them.
Yeah, it was about, 25 acres, I think? Something like that. Something like 25 acres of downtown land.
Wow.
That,
that's
and
great.
this is now the heart, our actual downtown is that way, but like it's really moved south
Yeah.
with the
And-
redevelopment of this lane.
And the growing pains that come with that, you know? So as part of the building across the street from us is a Trader Joe's that's gotten really, really popular.
Yeah.
Lots of people walking across this intersection here.
Yeah.
But the intersection wasn't really designed with pedestrians in mind.
Right.
RIDOT, when they came in and did the street grid after the highway came out, really overbuilt the road network
Right.
for cars. So here we have a walkway.
Shayla, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah. We're filming a video about bike lanes. Always, you know.
So tired. We have to go up all the big hills.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
good to see you.
you too.
So
Have a
there's,
great day. Hope you get some good TJ snacks. Those folks are normally on bikes and join us at our family bike rides.
Oh, fabulous.
Oh, we got friends on bikes over here.
Guys, have that. We can probably go now. There's no one coming. They come fast, but.
All right, here we go.
So there's an off ramp from the highway right over here that comes
Yeah.
out right by the Trader Joe's, and it's pretty busy there, and we're looking at what we can do to address that. But now we're on a path that I don't even know who built this path. I guess RIDOT is part of the part of the 195. I call it the George M. Cohan path because the composer George M. Cohan was a Providence native.
Okay.
And we're about to get on George M. Cohan Boulevard. But one of the really cool things about this path is the building we're about to pass.
Yeah.
They just finished.
It was just opened, and was.
Ribbon cutting last like 2 weeks
Here,
ago.
you talk about it.
Oh, sorry.
You know more about it than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I think, one of the first times we've had such a bike-friendly developer
Yeah.
propose an apartment building.
Yeah.
Who saw this location and that this trail was here.
Yeah.
And was so excited about it and talking that up the entire development process. And they're also developing this building right here next to it. They just started on this extension. This building's gonna be called Tandem. And I think that's so important for the culture and we're in the middle of a white hot housing crisis.
Right.
And a lot of what the Streets Coalition is advocating for is the elimination of parking minimums so that we can build more housing. But in order to do that, we need better bike infrastructure, better transit infrastructure, better walking infrastructure, so that we welcome more humans into our city where people are desperately trying to move and be housed affordably without welcoming their cars. So these developers were so thrilled because not only were they have like a much higher percentage of affordable housing units in their developments than most of the others, but also they were really stoked on the bike infrastructure and even offered office space in the ground floor to one of our partner organizations. So shout out to Penrose.
Nice. Love it.
So we have a really good view of the highway situation coming up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this bridge was replaced as part of the 195 movement as well. This is the new 195.
Yeah.
I guess it was in this location before, and then now it goes slightly outside of downtown instead. But this pedestrian bridge over the highway is great access from the neighborhood to this lovely waterfront park on the other side.
Yep, and right over here we've got schools, parks, neighborhood library, Boys and Girls Club, all of it like right here, and then kind of folks can head into the park. This way,
Can't see the bridge closure super well from here.
yeah, well I think we could talk about it. Yeah, I guess you can't really see the
If we
closed
go on
part
the
yet, but we will.
Redmond, we can see it from there probably.
Okay, John, we're about to go down these ramps and they have tight turning radii.
Okay.
They're really pretty though.
Whoa, we got one of those swing benches now.
Yeah.
A bunch of them. That's so cool.
A bunch of them. Oh yeah, this is gonna be so nice.
I had no idea that was coming in here.
Oh, they just spent like $2 million on this.
Yeah. I haven't been over here in a while, I guess.
Yeah. Let's
That
go check
looks
it
so
out.
great. Is it this way, Liza? Where are you going?
I want to check it out.
Okay. Whoa.
Yay, new swing bench. Sick.
Amazing.
I think it's important to talk about like where we are also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're here at India Point Park.
Nice,
This
nice.
used to be the working waterfront in Providence when we had way more of a maritime industries and stuff back in the day, and there was neighborhood groups. I just saw an exhibit about this. Actually, it was at the Roger Williams Park Gateway Center. They have all of the ephemera from the 30, 50, I think more like 50 years of advocacy that it took
Yeah.
to transform this area from a polluted industrial setting into the most glorious green space for residents.
Right.
And so we're here at India Point, and it's the mouth of the Narragansett Bay. Down that way is the Atlantic Ocean. And then you can see in South Providence, down that way, that we still have a lot of industrial waterfront.
Yeah.
That unfortunately is the site of just nonstop hazards for
Right.
the residents of South Providence. And so you have the inequities very present. But the difference between the east side waterfront and the south side waterfront is very stark, and it is a huge political issue in the city that
Right.
folks talk about a lot. And you know, the access points, be it biking and walking to the water,
Yeah.
and who can access the water and who can't.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be here, and we just put a lot of money into making this even nicer. This used to be all dirt and gravel and really terrible for biking
yeah.
on. So it's nice that it's being improved.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so wonderful. Yeah. Activating that waterfront, something other than a strode and or a highway,
Yeah.
you know, so important.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And on a nice
Lovely.
day, this space is packed.
Yeah.
Picnic blankets, you know.
Yeah,
This is where the fireworks of the 4th of July happen. Lots
Yeah.
of cultural festivals happen in this space. Lots of all sorts of music festivals happen in this park. And it's, you know, there's a reason why it's so popular. The water is such an asset to our community, just as any city that is on the water. And that's, you know, the allure of the waterfront parks, or the waterfront park, is part of why it's so resonant to the idea of City Walk, that which you talked about briefly, of connecting Roger Williams Park, which is our biggest park, with India Point Park, one of our most popular parks, with livable streets like the ones we've ridden on today.
Yeah. And we talked about it a little bit when we were talking about that creative little pathway that took us around the corner there, and you know, across the developments that you were talking about, that delivered us to here, that also delivered me to, you know, my Airbnb that I was staying in my, you know, in the neighborhood right behind us here. So these are like critical activity assets. This is the connectivity that we need to be able to create that culture of activity for folks to think, yeah, it actually is legitimate for me to choose to walk or bike or use transit on a regular basis because of the connectivity of this infrastructure.
Yep. That's what we're working on, piece by piece, making
Yeah.
it more connected.
Yeah. Anything that we haven't talked about yet that you would like to share for, you know, cities around the globe that are battling to try to become a little bit more people-oriented and streets, you know, for people? Any wisdom? You know, we talked a little bit about the organization structure. Thank you for that. From the city perspective, Alex, any pearls of wisdom from the trenches of the bureaucrat, the municipal worker?
I mean, well, a lot of the time progress is slow, right? It doesn't have to be. There are cities that have done it quickly, but most of the time it's slow. So it just takes persistence over a long amount of time. And it really takes building support on the inside of government, just like Liza's organizing work is about building up a movement on the outside of government. So it's about, you know, you're working across departments to, you know, see what could be done, how we could do things a little differently. showing examples of things working well, problem solving, to work out the kinks. But it's slow. I've been working at the city for 7 years, and it feels like we have 50, 100 years of work to do. At the pace we're going. But the other thing is working with the systems that exist. So I'm in the planning department. We put together these plans that try to plot out how we can achieve these goals of safety and livable places. We just released the Safe Streets plan that Liza mentioned, which has a lot of detail about what works in other cities.
So Liza, talk a little bit about the engagement of communities. One of the things that I always say on the channel is that, we need leadership at the top, and we need folks in the staff within the city. We need good advocacy organizations, but we also need the engagement of the public and feeling like there's a groundswell of support from the bottom up. Talk a little bit about your organization and how you're helping to support other organizations that are representing communities and neighborhoods, and how we can really mobilize, because ultimately if we're able to move things along a little quicker, it's a lot easier when there's a lot of community support.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the Providence Streets Coalition. We're not the Providence Bike Coalition, and we brought together the traditional mobility advocates, the different groups that represented pedestrians, cyclists, and transit riders. But then we were like, okay, who else? Who else is representing groups of non-drivers? That's all the youth orgs. It's the AARP and folks representing older adults and folks with disabilities. It's the grocery stores. It's like for a while we even had car insurance companies as part of our coalition. We did a really big brainstorming exercise, like, who has a vested interest in this? And it turns out it's a lot of people.
How do the politicians, respond to that when they start to realize, oh my gosh, this is not just the bike people, this is like a coalition of constituents?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think when that message comes across, it's a lot more powerful.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's so important to reach people. I mean, I would say the most challenging aspect of this is our fragmented media culture today.
Right.
Where everybody is on a different platform.
Yeah.
It's exhausting for the advocates, communications people to do everything. And we try to do everything. Last week I was on a TV program for folks that is run by a much older activist who's been around the block for so long, making amazing change in Rhode Island. That TV program does not exist on the internet at all.
Right.
It is not on YouTube. It is nowhere. So he was like, here are the times where you can watch it. Tell people to watch it. And I was like, I don't have a TV.
Yeah.
You're like, this is okay, but I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hope that people who do have TVs see it, and maybe it'll make a difference. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't track
I hope somebody recorded it.
No, they didn't. Like, I'll never see it. I'll never see it. Because I'm a millennial, and a lot of the folks that work, so we have a large Instagram presence. That is our bread and butter. It's easy. But we're investing more in our TikTok, because that's where the younger folks are. So it's hard, and it takes a lot of time to repackage the message over and over and over and over for all the different platforms. But it's just what you got to do.
Another thing I've observed is that there are national and global platforms like Active Towns, like Warren Cars, like Not Just Bikes, that have a lot of reach all over the place.
Right.
And a couple summers ago, I was canvassing at a farmer's market, and I talked to this couple who clearly knew some of the lingo about active transportation, and I found out that they listened to I think one of those platforms. I was like, do you know about the Providence Streets Coalition? And they're like, no. What's that? So it's like getting because so much is nationalized and globalized these days in terms of our media, is like getting people who get hooked on those ideas, engaged at the local level, I think is a big area where we do better, you know? I don't know how, but
undoubtedly.
Connecting people, and oftentimes, it's a good point. Somebody will watch one of my videos or one of Jason's videos with Not Just Bikes or whatever, and get inspired about something, then have absolutely no clue that you all are on the ground doing stuff. Well, hopefully we're gonna have links to your organizations and the fine work that is happening here in Providence as part of this. What's the best way for folks to engage with your organization?
Yeah, so pvdstreets.org, on Instagram at Providence Streets, and all the places, Providence Streets Coalition.
Fantastic. And for the City of Providence, what's a good landing page for the city that has a lot of these wonderful projects profiled?
So the latest one I would send people to is providenceri.gov/safe streets.
Fantastic.
Which has a lot of what we're doing right now as part of the Safe Streets for All grant.
Yeah. Liza, Alex, thank you so much. This has been Did you have one more thing you want to say?
I do want to say one more thing. What I want to brag about Providence a little bit more. I will say, like, we were talking about the media strategy and stuff, and here in town, like, the number one thing is showing up in person. We live in such a connected city. When people write about the epidemic of loneliness and isolation in the U.S., I'm like, it's not in Providence.
Well, it might be in Providence.
It
might be in Providence if they're driving everywhere in their cars. But what we saw today is that when we're riding around on bikes, we're waving at people. We're connecting with friends, with people who are familiar to us. Even maybe some familiar strangers.
Yes. But this is such a rich, social, dense, multicultural city of people who know each other and love each other, and even when we're fighting. And I love it so much here, and I'm so proud to be a resident, and we're gonna just be in it for the long haul. And the longer we stay here, and the longer we have kids and meet parents in schools and go to church and all the things. Like, there are just so many ways that our advocacy can penetrate into the wider community over time. And it is a slow and persistent battle, but we're going to keep at it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you emphasized that too, because it's one of the things that we oftentimes forget. From a public health perspective, I'm always thinking about healthcare cost containment and looking at trying to create things where we're making people physically healthier and all that, mentally healthier and all that sort of stuff. But the sociability is a huge part that oftentimes just gets forgotten. And our ride around the city today has demonstrated that there's so much social cohesiveness out there when we get out of our little metal boxes. And again, Liza, Alex, thank you so very much for showing me your beautiful city.
Thanks, John.
Yay!
Cool. Is there more writing we want to do?
Good job. Way to go, guys. Hey everyone, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of Providence, Rhode Island with Liza and Alex. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and share it with a friend. And if you haven't done so already, I'd be honored to have you subscribe to the channel. Just click on that subscription button down below, and be sure to turn on notifications by ringing that notifications bell. And if you're enjoying this content here on the Active Towns channel, please consider supporting my efforts by becoming an Active Towns ambassador. It's super easy to do. Just click on the join button right here in YouTube down below, or navigate over to activetowns.org, click on the support tab at the top of the page, and there's several different options there, including making a contribution to the nonprofit. You can buy me a coffee, as well as become a Patreon supporter. Patrons do get early and ad-free access to all this video content. And again, thank you all so very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, this is John signing off by wishing you much activity, health, and happiness. Cheers. And again, just want to send a huge thank you to all my Active Towns ambassadors supporting the channel financially via YouTube memberships, YouTube super thanks, as well as making contributions to the nonprofit and joining my Patreon. Every little bit adds up and is very much appreciated. Thank you all so much.